Monroe Lane. Is that provided?
All right, we'll call the meeting to order at 7:03. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Unbehan, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the record show that all board members are present. Public notice has been given. We are working off of a revised agenda that came out on Friday. Moving on to the oath of office, we do have three board members getting sworn in tonight. Our acting clerk, Mr. Huntemer, will administer the oath of office to Mr. Bailey, Mr. Doudna, and Mr. Van Landijk, and we'll just do it right over in front of the screen on the left-hand side.
I state your name.
I, Scott Doudna,
Who have been elected
who have been elected
to the office of school board member of the Richland School District,
to the office of school board member of the Richland School District,
but have not yet entered upon the duties thereof,
but have not yet entered on the duties thereof,
affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability.
and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you. Good.
Thank you, and congratulations to the three of you. Welcome. Moving on to the board reorganization part of the agenda, the first item is the election of officers. At this time, we will look for nominations for each of the officer positions, starting with the president. After the president has been elected, I will turn the meeting over to that person. Prior to the meeting, board members were asked for their interest in an officer position. We will assume that means they are self-nominating, but we will confirm that prior to each office, and then we will ask for any additional nominations for each officer position and delegate position as well. With that, we will start with the position of president. Aaron Unbehan has expressed interest. Mr. Unbehan, is the position of president still a position for which you would like to be considered?
It is.
Are there any other nominations for the office of president? Once again, are there any other nominations for the office of president? Hearing none, the nominations are closed, and Mr. Unbehan, you have been elected to the position of president by acclamation, meaning unopposed. With that, I will turn the gavel over to Mr. Unbehan for the remainder of our meeting.
All right, thank you, Mr. Board. Looking for nominations for the position of Vice President. Mr. Bailey has expressed interest. Mr. Bailey, is that still a position you are interested in and want to consider?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations for Vice President? Are there any more nominations for Vice President? Nominations are now closed. Mr. Bailey has been elected to the position of Vice President by acclamation. Congratulations, Mr. Bailey. All right. On to the clerk position. Looking for nominations for the position of clerk. Mrs. Dickman has expressed interest in that position. Mrs. Dickman, are you still considering that position?
Yes.
Are there any other nominations for clerk? Are there any more nominations for clerk? All right, nominations are closed. Mrs. Dickman has been elected to the position of clerk by acclamation. Congratulations, Mrs. Dickman.
Thank you.
All Right, now on to treasurer. I'm looking for nominations for the position of treasurer. See, we had two people in there, Mrs. Dickman and Mr. Dowdna. However, Mrs. Dickman, you accepted the position of clerk.
So
Are
remove
you
my
s-
name from
Are
treasurer.
you still interested?
No,
or-
please
no?
remove my name
Okay.
from treasurer.
Okay. Mr. Dowdna, are you still interested in the position of treasurer?
Yes.
Are there any other nominations for treasurer? Are there any more nominations for treasurer? All right, seeing none, Mr. Dowdna has been elected to the position of treasurer by acclamation. Congratulations, Mr. Dowdna. Now I'm looking for nominations for the position of acting clerk. Mr. Huntemer and Ms. Troxel has both expressed interest in the position of acting clerk. Is this a position you both are still considering?
I am not.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so Ms. Troxel has removed herself from acting clerk. Mr. Huntemer has expressed continued interest in the acting clerk position. Are there any other nominations for acting clerk? Are there any other nominations for acting clerk? Mr. Huntemer has been elected to the position of acting clerk by acclamation. Congratulations, Mr. Huntemer. All right. Now we're on to WASB delegate.
In our WASB, Wisconsin Association of School Boards, that's the governing organization that assists school boards throughout the state of Wisconsin. We are looking for a delegate as well as an alternative in case the delegate is unable to fill those. There is a convention, a state education convention in Milwaukee. It's held on January 22nd through the 24th of 2025. The delegate would need to attend and represent the Richland School District and the Richland School Board at the convention. If they are unable to attend, then the alternate would be asked to attend. If no one is able to, then the board will have to select somebody else. But in choosing interest to be a delegate, the hope would be that you would be able to attend the convention in January.
All right, thank you. So I'm looking for nominations for the position of WASB delegate. Mrs. Dickman has expressed interest. Mrs. Dickman, are you still interested in the WASB delegate position?
Yes.
Are there any more nominations for the WASB delegate? Are there any more nominations for the WASB delegate? All right, nominations are closed. Mrs. Dickman has been elected to the position of WASB delegate by acclamation. Congratulations, Mrs. Dickman.
Thank you.
Right, on to the WASB alternate delegate position. So I'm looking for nominations for the position of the WASB alternate delegate. Ms. Troxel and Mrs. Dickman both have expressed interest. Are you both still considering this position?
I am not.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for the WASB alternate delegate? Are there any other nominations for the WASB alternate delegate? All right, seeing none. Ms. Troxel has been elected to the position of the WASB alternate delegate by acclamation. Congratulations, Ms. Troxel. All right. I'm looking for nominations for the position of RSD Foundation. Mr. Bailing has expressed interest. Mr. Bailing, are you still considering the position of RSD Foundation?
I am.
Are there any other nominations for the RSD Foundation? any other nominations for the RSD Foundation? Seeing none, Mr. Bailey has been elected to the position of RSD Foundation by acclamation. Congratulations, Mr. Bailey. CISA 3 Convention Representative. I'm looking for nominations for the position of CISA 3 Convention Representative. Mrs. Dickman has expressed interest in the CISA 3 Convention Representative. Mrs. Dickman, are you still considering that position?
Yes.
Are there any other nominations for the CISA 3 Convention Representative?
May I ask a question?
Yes.
What does that entail?
So this would, specifically, there is a convention held at CISA 3 in Fenimore, same place that I believe you attended last week, and it is held on Tuesday, August 6th. So that would be a date that we would want the convention or the alternate to be able to attend.
Thank you.
Hang on. I think I withdraw my name from that. That date, I'll be out of town. When you said August 6th, that rang a bell. So I'm not going to be able to do that, I'm sorry, Erin.
No worries. So I'm looking for nominations for the position of CISA 3 Convention. Are there any nominations?
I nominate Mr. Huntermer.
Mr. Huntemer, do you accept that nomination?
I will.
Are there any other nominations for CISA 3 Convention Representative? All right. Nominations are now closed. Mr. Huntemer has been elected to the position of CISA 3 Convention Representative by acclamation. Congratulations, Mr. Huntemer. All right, I'm looking for nominations for the position of alternate CISA 3 Convention Representative.
You can say for you to take my name off of it.
Mr. Huntemer has expressed interest as a CISA 3 alternate. However, since you are the primary, I'm assuming you want to remove your name from that.
Yes, sir.
So, are
May I
there?
volunteer to fill that position?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So are there any other nominations for CISA 3 alternate? You can nominate yourself if you want.
Thank you. I just did.
Okay. I just want to make it formal. Are there any other nominations for the office of CISA 3 alternate? All right, nominations are now closed. Bear with me here. Mr. Van Landite has been elected to the position of alternate CISA 3 Convention Representative by acclamation. Congratulations,
When I
Mr.
went there last
Van
week, it
Landite.
was very impressive. I really enjoyed it.
All right. So now we are on to, bear with me, this is a very different agenda. We are on to 3E, board officer signatures on contracts.
Yeah, so what the board would be voting on at this meeting is the ability to not have to have every paper document hand-signed, but that we would accept in certain cases, when needed, electronic or e-signature, whether it's a DocuSign or a PandaDoc form. So this would allow the district to operate with signatures when it's unable to obtain a hand signature.
All right, so we're looking for a motion to approve the usage of electronic signatures on contracts and agreements for the 2024-25 school year.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Van Landite. Is there a second?
I second.
Seconded by Mrs. Dickman. Discussion? Mrs. Dickman?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, on to the selection of official newspaper.
So each year, the board establishes an official newspaper, which board conduct its business through publications officially, or excuse me, historically. That has been done by the Richland Observer, and that is the recommendation tonight.
Is there a motion to approve the Richland Observer as the official newspaper in which all of the district's 2024-25 official business is published?
I'll make that.
Motion made by Mr. Huntermer, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded Mr. Mailing, discussion? Mr. Axel?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Selection of alternative investment location.
So Community First Bank is our primary banking agency. However, with this agenda item, this would give the district the ability to use an alternative investment location, one that would gain or yield better interest. And so historically, the district has used the Local Government Investment Pool, or LGIP, as a place to wire money and house money that has the potential to gain a higher interest rate than a traditional checking account would at a bank. So that's what this agenda item is, and we are recommending to continue with the Local Government Investment Pool as an alternative investment location.
Is there a motion to approve the local government investment pool for an alternative investment location for 2024-25?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Ms. Troxel, is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Dowden, discussion?
A question. Have the local banks or credit unions been considered for this, so the money would stay in our community?
When we send out, every 3 years, we send out an RFP to the local banks to see if they can put in a proposal for our general banking, and their interest rates have never been able to match the local government investment pool.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Any other discussion? Mr. Dowden?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Selection of legal firms.
Okay, so for the past, maybe now over 30 years, Attorney Kirk Strang has represented the districts as their general legal counsel. This agenda item is asking to continue most of our work with Mr. Strang. It does not lock us into never exploring other options or using other attorneys, but it does ask that most of our legal matters be done through Kirk Strang with Strang Law LLC. He seems to have served the district very well in the past, and that's the recommendation.
I'll make the motion to approve Kirk Strang with Strang Law LLC as the legal firm for most of the legal matters in the 2024-25 and empower the district administrator to use other firms as needed for special purposes. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mrs. Dickman. Discussion? Mr. Hunterman?
Aye.
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 Aye. Board memberships and publications.
So the district uses or has traditionally paid a membership to two area or statewide associations. One is the Wisconsin Association of School Boards, WASB, we talked about earlier. We go down to the Education Convention each January. And then the second is the Wisconsin Rural School Alliance. And both of those are able to be valuable resources, not only for the board, but for the district, whether it be for training or connections or different types of resources. And we would recommend that we continue those memberships in both the WASB and WISRA for 24-25.
Is there a motion to approve membership in the Wisconsin Association of School Boards and the Wisconsin Rural School Alliance for 2024-25?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Van Landijk. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded, Ms. Troxel. Discussion? Mr. Van Landijk?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
On to the board meeting schedule.
So this agenda item is for the board to decide when it wants to have its regularly scheduled meetings. This will be aside from committee meetings and any special meetings that may take place throughout the course of the year. Up until a couple of years ago, the board met on the first and third Monday, and they met at 7:30. About 2 years ago, I believe, that was moved up to 7 o'clock, and last year, I believe, they went to the second and fourth to try to avoid conflicts with not only some holidays like Labor Day and January 1st holiday, but also the traditional days of band and choir concerts. And so the PDF that is attached represents the second and fourth Monday, again, starting at 7 o'clock. These would be for regularly scheduled board meetings starting in July. But if any board members propose a different schedule or a different time, that would be the time to do so.
How does the board feel about the schedule?
I think it works well, and I'm even more in favor if committees go back to the same week.
The Thursday following the board meeting.
And I can see how it seems to work well with the staggering. However, each committee is only going to meet once per month either way. So whether it be the first or second meeting to come back to here, I don't know if it would make a drastic difference. But at least from a personal perspective, if you can at least kind of get more done in a week's time, you get a little bit more of a break, more family time. So that's just my thoughts.
Thank you, yeah, we take that into consideration, and absolutely look at the committee schedule.
And generally speaking, each committee, when they do their reorganization after the committees are established, they can kind of set the dates that work for them. So this would be certainly something that we can look at the committee level.
I was planting seed early.
It's been planted. Is there a motion then to approve the 2024-25 board meeting schedule as presented?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Bailey, is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Huntenberg. Any more discussion? Bailey? Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
I'll make a motion to convene in closed session pursuant to section 19.851C and F and of the Wisconsin statutes to consider preliminary non-renewals for certified staff and to consider any proposed voluntary resolution of any employment matter, including any proposed resignation from employment. The board may take action in closed session if necessary and appropriate. At the conclusion of the closed session, the board will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Dickman. Discussion? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you.